What's up, everybody? Andrew here with the Medellin Buzz, and today we are in the neighborhood of Prado in downtown Medellin. And we're here with my friend Patrick, who owns a business and has been living in Medellin for a long time. We're gonna get to know everything about it. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's go. All right, Patrick, let us know. Where are you from?
So originally from Hawaii, but grew up in California, lived on the East Coast, the Midwest. I've kind of been all over the place.
Okay.
I've kind of lived all over the place. I'm real adaptable.
How long have you been living in Medellin?
This time I've been here going on 7 years right now. I tried to start a motorcycle company here in the mid-2000s, but it wasn't quite ready for it. But now you see they're popping up everywhere. Motorcycle rentals, everywhere, yeah. Tour guides, all that stuff.
And where in Medellin do you currently live?
Right now I'm living in Laureles. Laureles is kind of my favorite barrio. It's still got a little bit of the family style barrio you get in Colombia, with kind of the amenities like all the nice restaurants, you know, buses, all the other extras that we get there, you know, but it's a totally walkable neighborhood. That for me is super important.
All right, we're gonna continue walking around the neighborhood. We're gonna ask you more questions and get to know you a little bit better and also get to know about your business. Let's go. Hi, Patrick, I'm very curious about your business. Let us know, what is it?
So I have a design build business here. I work like you would in the US as a general contractor speaking, but I have designers and architects that work for me as well. Remodeling for people buying houses here, investing down here, Airbnbs. I've done some restaurants, I've done casa fincas. So we've been doing that for like 6 years now.
Tell us, what are the challenges in your perspective of building a business like yours?
You know, we're here in another culture and we need to work with everybody down here. So I think that's the hardest part, just like getting and finding the right guys to work with you. They don't have the technology we have in the US. You know, you don't see the great big saws, all the machinery that we have. Finding the right teams, putting it together. I have one guy that's been with me for 6 years, but I've probably burned through a whole bunch more, and now I have a team that I've built up over 6 years. Patience and being accepting and being to learn where you can bring what you've learned and bring it to the plate without really like taking away from the culture here. Because what I learned, the main thing I learned here is it's about the people still. That's still the number one thing. So when you get to the job site, it's like, hey, how are you? What's going on? Take that time, be a part of what's going on with the culture down here. And that made huge changes for me. In the end of the day, it's still about getting the job done, right?
What would you say are some of the rewards of having a business like yours here?
You know, well, I've met so many great people. First of all, every client almost always becomes like a good friend of mine somehow or another. We eat, we hang out, we do things together. For me, design construction is all about seeing that end result. And when you finish a house and you end up with some amazing design, some amazing apartment that someone's really stoked about, or a restaurant that just is super cool, that's where the reward is right there.
I've got a lot more questions for you. Let's get to the next spot. Let's keep walking.
Let's do it. Okay, so we were just talking about like, what do you think the best investment is for someone coming in and buy real estate right now?
For me, I'll give you a current example. Right now, I'm going through a deal. I found an apartment in Patio Bonito, which is in El Poblado. It's a 2-bedroom, about 72 square meters. I'm getting it for about 400 million Colombian pesos, which, you know, let's round numbers. Let's say it's $100,000, right? Depending on the exchange rate. It's going to be a complete gut job, $30,000 to $40,000 for the complete gut job, remodel, and decor, design, the feng shui. I love that stuff. I want to make it amazing because it's going to be an Airbnb, right? And I know, because I've been doing this for 6 years now, that in that neighborhood for that 2-bedroom, I'd be able to list it at $2,000 and I'll be netting about $1,800 per month. So even at a 70% occupancy rate, let's say I'm all in at $130,000 or $140,000 and I'm netting $1,800 a month, even at 70% occupancy, I'm around 10% or higher on my return on investment. My apartments, I'm getting over 80% occupancy because we manage them ourselves, but I'm always conservative. I'm like, worst case scenario, let's say someone gets sick, I get sick, or something happens, and we have to just hand it off to an agency that handles the rental, and they can only get 60 or 70% occupancy rate, it would still be a good investment. So yeah, to answer your question, what are the best investments in Medellin? The more bang for your buck, meaning as far as return on investment, it's going to be in El Poblado, right? The closer you are to Provenza, the higher the occupancy rate, the higher you can charge per month on your rental. But there are screaming deals like in Laureles, in up and coming neighborhoods like in El Segundo Parque, El Primer Parque, La Lorena, where I've seen stuff for like $70,000 that you can completely remodel, put up on Airbnb for $1,200, $1,300. You're killing it even at a 60, 70% occupancy rate. So if you're looking to buy an apartment out here, there is a link in the description below to my form. You fill it out and somebody on my team will get back to you and we'll talk on WhatsApp. Now back to you. And your life here in Medellin. I've got more of a personal question, switching gears here. What do you think are the pros and cons of living in Medellin? Let's start with the pros first.
Well, it's the weather, it's the people, it's like the naturaleza. We're like actually right up the hill. You're going to be in the mountains in like 10 minutes, right? So you got the city, which I'm a city guy, but I have a lot of Pueblo guy in me, right? So I need both. I can't be stuck in Medellin all the time. I got to get out of town a couple times a month. So for me, that's a really important thing. But the first impression for me here since day one, 20 years ago in Cali, was the people. I had some experiences were just over the top, friendliness, helpfulness. This city's great if you need to get access for transport. You got the metro, you got buses, you got taxis. Poblado, Laureles, $5, $4, not a big deal, right? You can do that all day long. So I actually ride a motor all day long, like these guys right here. So for me, I can be in Poblado in like 10 minutes. I can be in Centro in like 12 or 15 minutes. I can be in Envigado in 20 minutes, so I can be all over the place pretty quick. Great food, great fruits and vegetables, right? We got a lot of stuff growing around here. And then the cons are just like, it's a different place, man. It's a third world country still. Although Medellin doesn't feel like it sometimes or look like it, they're behind on things, The technology is a little bit behind. You might have issues getting things done, but it takes a little bit more time. You got to get patience. I was supposed to learn tolerance and patience. That's why I came here, right?
What do you feel about safety? Do you feel safe in Medellin?
I feel safe in Medellin, and I think that has to do because I know Medellin, right? This barrio, Prado Centro, is probably the most beautiful barrio, the best architecture in town. I wouldn't be walking around here or walking down to Centro in the Candelaria, after like 9 or 10 at night. You got to be thinking about yourself. But I've never been robbed. Sometimes people will rob you of your time a little bit, but that's about it. I do know people who have been robbed, and I think most of the time they're doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, or in places maybe they shouldn't be at.
Okay, I've got some more questions. Let's get to the next point.
Sure.
Let's go. That way, yeah. All right, so what would your advice be to someone that wants to relocate to Medellin? Maybe they visited here before and they're like, I want to live here. They're watching it in California or wherever they're at, and they're like, man, I really want to change my life and live in Medellin. What would your advice be to someone like that?
I would say for me, I'm an adventurous type, so I just did it. Maybe rent a place for a couple months in Poblado, a couple months in Laureles. Find out where you need to be, where your people are at, really, because there's different culture in each little barrio of town, and just take the time to get to know it and know that stuff doesn't happen like that. My business kind of was something that slowly happened over time. I didn't even plan on being a contractor down here. I thought I was just going to have a vacation home, and the next thing you know, I started a project, and then people started calling me. So you never know how things are going to work out. You got to give it a chance though, right?
Can you give us a 30-second elevator pitch on Q Design?
Contractor, design, do building inspections. If you're looking for a property to invest in, if you want someone to look at it, I'm the guy to do it. Anywhere from middle end Airbnb to personal residences, luxury apartments, fincas. Just did a great restaurant this year that came out amazing. So there's all kinds of things that we can do in construction. On Instagram, we're known as Design Studio Q.
I'll have that information on the description down below or the pinned comment. You guys want to hit them up. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Cool, thanks.
Let's go.